Howdy, howdy. Welcome to the Bassics Primer. So, my bass knowledge just came from watching a bunch of YouTube videos and listening to some other bassists give me the basics, and that's a tongue mouthful. But I think it's a pretty good working knowledge. I have made money playing bass, so hopefully the tips I have are useful. So, the first thing I want to start off with is the volume knob. That's usually the first knob on a bass. And then I have this on my Sterling Stingray. I have this pickup right here. It has a treble and a bass pickup. So treble controls the high sounds and bass controls the lower sounds. I leave it centered because I like the rounded sounds it gives me. Usually there's like I feel a little notch when I hit the middle, so I just have them both on the middle. That's about halfway through the whole rotation of the knob. So the contemporary bass technique uses 2 fingers. So I'll put my thumb here on the pickup, and you want to think about going through the string. So I'm going through the string and basically snapping to my thumb. If I go to the next string, I'll just rest my thumb on this string. So and then the second technique we want to talk about is muting. So after you play the string, you can put a finger on it to stop it from making a sound. You can also do this with the other hand. With the bass, you don't want it ringing out too long because it'll muddy up the mix and just ruin what's going on with other instruments or what have you. You want a nice tight sound. I'm a little rusty. Close enough. So the next thing I want to talk about is the frets. So you have the nut right here, and then you have the first fret, and it just goes up from there. These little metal things are called frets, and when you produce a note, you want to press all the way up to the metal on the fret. So not the middle will give you a little bit muddier sound, but the most in tune is right in front of it. Not on top of it, but right in front of it. So the third fret of the E string, the thickest string, is G. That's usually where I start off when I'm playing bass. Whenever I'm warming up, I just put my finger on G. So just practice producing a tone, and then just strike your finger through it and see if you can get it even. It's a good exercise just to build finger strength. Just practice playing the notes. So a good trick I like on stringed instruments is if you go over 2 strings. So we're starting on a thick string and going over to the D string, and then you can go up 2 frets. You have an octave. So we're on the 5th fret of the D string. So that's the octave G. G, 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 G. So I usually play that with my pinky, because that's a big stretch for there and just doesn't feel comfortable. So that's a common thing when playing bass is you play this, you play that 5th, then you come down, you play that octave, come down the string, and that's the 5th. So that's just 1 string over and 2 frets up. You can see on these little dots, you have 3, 5, 7, 9. That's a good little reminder to help you remember where you are. So if I set the 3rd fret, we're just looking at this little dot right here. And the 5th fret of the next string is on the other dot. Root 5th octave. Same thing if we start on the next string. A little blues. So the way I learned was I just pulled up some YouTube videos, and I usually don't watch the whole YouTube video. I just stop where I find a technique I want to learn. So if I wanted to learn just reducing the sound, I'd watch the basics videos and just keep rewinding it until I got what I needed out of it. If I wanted to learn some grooves, I find a groove I liked and then just sit on it. And once I see what they're teaching me, I'll probably just close the video and then just go practice that thing until I'm satisfied with it. So one groove we can do is just a basic blues pattern is 1, 4, 5. So if we're starting on the G on that 3rd fret, to go to the 4, we just go to the next string. back to the 1. And then if we want to go to 5, we go to that next string, go to the 5th fret, down to the 3rd fret, down to the 1st string. Or is that the 4th string with bass? I never really paid too much attention. I used to always call them the E, A, D, G. So E string, 3rd of the A string, 5th of the A string, 3rd of the E string. I'm not used to that. So 12-bar blues would go like boom, boom, to boom, boom. Next string, 4, 4, to the 1, 1. Get to the 5, 5, down to the 4, 4, 1, 1. Now those numbers I'm saying, they're not the fret numbers, they're the scale degree. So since we're in the key of G, G is the 1. G is the 1, C is the 4, D is the 5. But if you don't know all the notes yet, it's easier just to think in terms of numbers. So this string to this string is a 4th. Same from this string to this string. So we go 1, 4, 5, 1. 5, 5, 4, 4, 1, 1. In a typical blues pattern, you go 1 for 4 bars, 4, 1, 1. Hit the 5, 5 to the 4, 4 to the 1, 1. I've noticed I play a little step in there. If you go down chromatically, which means going to all the notes instead of just the notes in the key, so dun dun dun, it just adds a little flavor. I like to slide up to notes. I'll slide down to notes. Start adding a little bit of slide in there. That may feel a little advanced, which is a fun thing to start now. So when you really get in the mood, you can just. Now let's take that basic groove. I know we're moving a little fast, but let's just get you all the value I can in as short a time as possible. Gonna take that basic groove and just add those octaves. So 2 strings over and 2 frets up. It's a little bit harder in the beginning, but once you get more used to it, it's just something you feel naturally, and it's like the bread and butter, the basic bread and butter. So over next string. Up to the 5. And yeah, that's pretty much the basics of bass. Another groove is, let's see, we're just gonna go 1, 2, 3. So we're gonna start on the 3rd fret of the E string, that's that G. Up to the 5th string. Up to the 7th string. So 1, 2, 3. Just follow the dots, baby. 1, 2, 3. So, and we're gonna add that chromaticity I'm talking about. We're just gonna add that step in between. So what I'm doing there is I'm playing that 5th on the 5th fret of the A string. 5, 1, 5, 1. That's the most classical cadence you could ever have. 5, 1. Next dot in between. 5, 1. You might be wondering where your other fingers come in this. And really, I usually save that for later parts. I just care about making a sound on the bass, so. But it's just however comfortable your fingers feel. I have big hands, But even still on this bass, I'd like to use my finger to pinky when I'm going into fifth. That was a lot real fast, but I think you'll get the hang of it, and hopefully it gives you learned at least something there that'll help you maybe practice for the next week. And yeah, I'll see you when I see you.